Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This video today is essentially a follow-up on a prior video we did where we were basically discussing a proposal here in Thailand to increase the VAT from 7% to 8%. Approximately 4 to 6 weeks ago this was brought up. It was rather hurriedly put back to bed, as it were. Basically, it was sort of remarked upon by various officials of the Thai government, including the Prime Minister, and then it was subsequently essentially denied. Basically, it was said that it wasn't the proper time to be raising the VAT issue. But recently it's come back up in the news. An article here from Bangkok Post. In LA, that's the National Legislative Assembly, proposes a 1% VAT hike. It notes in the article, and I quote, the VAT was set at 10%, but effective rate has been 7% since 1997. Each government issues an announcement each year to keep the 7% rate for political and economic reasons. And basically, it came out that the the NLA approved the report without a vote and will send it to the cabinet for further consideration. The report basically suggested it would be a good idea to go ahead and raise the VAT from 7 to 8% here in the kingdom. This article, at least, it came out about on May 18th at 7:03 p.m. The next day, May 19th at 1:30 p.m., Finance Secretary rejects proposed VAT hike. Again, this is from the Bangkok Post. Basically, Finance Permanent Secretary Songchai Sujapong has rejected the National Legislative Assembly's proposal for a 1% increase in the value-added tax, VAT, saying it does not suit the present economic circumstances, end quote. And basically what it goes on to note is that the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance noted that currently Thailand economically is recovering, well, not recovering, but the economy is currently ratcheting up, heating up, as it were, and to place an increased VAT upon the economy could cause it to slow back down. I think it was even mentioned as sort of like a stumbling block, was sort of a phrase used with respect to this issue. At least for now, that would seem to deal with the matter, although it should be noted, effective rate, the current rate is due for review in September, which means the ministry must propose a rate to the cabinet soon, end quote. So it looks like they're probably going to be proposing a new rate rather quickly, obviously, from what it says here in these articles. But that being said, it would appear that the rate is probably going to remain 7% during this reporting period. So that leads me to believe that probably until at least sometime next year, we're going to still have a 7% VAT rate. That being said, again, as you can see in a previous video on this channel, we discussed this rather at length before, and it was sort of tussled about or bandied about, and then again it seemed to have resolved itself, but then it raised its head again with respect to this NLA report that the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance has gone ahead and essentially disregarded, for lack of a better term. So it looks like for at least the foreseeable future we're still going to have the 7% VAT rate. That remains to be seen for certain. But it seems logical to me to infer that it's probably going to be the case because someone as important as the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance is pretty well one of the top people that's going to be involved with such a decision. So that would seem to signal to me that the Thai VAT rate is going to remain the same into the future. He noted, though, with respect to the need for further revenue on the part of the government, that there were other ways to go about this. Most notably mentioned in here were the possibility of a windfall tax on sales of Thai property, especially those that are receiving a significant economic bounce due to essentially mass transit coming into areas where mass transit had not previously been, and property prices rising as a result. There may be a windfall tax. A couple other things were proposed with respect to increasing revenue here in Thailand with respect to government revenue, but it would appear, at least for the foreseeable future, the VAT is going to be staying at about 7%.